This year, the Orange Show is 100 years old.
No kidding.
Is it chilly to enter?
And they're keeping it a good secret. Too many people know, unfortunately. Some background. In 1857, Anson Van Leuven bought 6 orange trees in San Gabriel and brought them to San Bernardino. Those were the first fruit-bearing trees in the county. The first navel orange tree was acquired by Eliza Tibbets in Riverside, and I believe that tree is still there.
Yep.
There were citrus fairs held in Riverside and Colton in the 1880s and the 1890s, and they were similar to the orange shows later. They had displays of all sorts of citrus and other fruits and things. In 1891, San Bernardino had its first citrus fair. In the city, there was, back then, they scheduled events all the time. They had a street fair in 1901, which, drew hundreds of people. And there were booths and music and things like that. They had another street fair in 1903, try and tie in with President Roosevelt visited, and he was quoted or overheard talking to a Santa Fe employee. He said he wanted to live, like to live in San Bernardino. Probably said that in every city he went. In 1908, there was the Festival of the Arrowhead, just another reason to have a big street fair. It was a huge street fair. There were 2 newspapers that put out supplements for that. The city officials wanted it to be an annual event. Here you see a display. The city water department actually built an artesian well in the middle of the street. So they had to have piping for the water and a sewer for the runoff. And in 1910, of course, was the centennial of the city. Then the Orange Show started in 1911. And it was started first by some citizens that wanted to do something, and the Chamber of Commerce played a big part in that too. And also the Santa Fe Railroad played a big part in it because they were the shippers of all these oranges. It was held in a tent at 4th and East Street. It was a huge tent. I mean, much bigger than that appears. And of course, being retired from the fire department, I had to show some fire engines here. This was San Bernardino's first motorized fire engine. It's a 1910 Pope Hartford. And that's in that first parade. Right downtown, that's probably 3rd and D or 3rd and E. And that was the ladder truck that was horse-drawn, and then they motorized it. And of course, being firemen, they had to squirt some water. But here's the Orange Show tent back here. So that's 4th and E right there. That was inside the first Orange Show. They had a lot of displays as well. This is a hand-colored glass slide, lantern slide. You can see the beautiful pennants and all the flags and just how big that tent was. Highland won a couple first prizes. These beautiful silk banners You know, they were all first class in the size of that trophy. This is the sign for the National Orange Show, the first one, in downtown San Bernardino.
Steve, are any of those banners or trophies left anymore?
Some trophies are, some banners. I personally collect things from the old orange shows and stuff. I've got about 30 of the pennants. A lot of neat stuff. Yeah.
Are they on display? Or is anything on display at the museum?
Yeah, there's currently a display at the museum of some of them. And you all know the history of it raining a lot with the orange show. Well, that was the first one, so it started off bang. As you can see, they didn't have any flood control at the time. Second National Orange Show in 1912. This was the poster for that. You know, just great graphics back then. The programs, everything was neat. This is almost a life-size locomotive made with oranges, or oranges applied around it. And like I say, the Santa Fe played a big part in the orange show. This is a typical souvenir stand. You'll see a couple of the orange show pennants here. This was a hand-colored photo in 1912. And this old guy right here is Fred Paris, the guy named for Paris Hill Park, the city of Paris.
Which one?
It's the old man right here. Yeah, I think this was about a year or two before he died.
And look at how everyone dressed up to go to the orange show.
Yeah.
Now you go in cutouts and flip-flops.
Yeah. These people in the picture, a lot of them were representatives from Santa Fe. And Fred Paris was the chief engineer for Santa Fe. He's the guy that put the track through the Cajon Pass. And there's Fred Paris with the trophy. Good one. Like I say, Santa Fe played a huge part. This is another year. They had a locomotive coming out of a tunnel in the back of it. At one time in the city's history, over half of the people eligible to work in the city worked for Santa Fe. Notice the posters, reduced rates on all railroads. That's another great poster. These are some damsels at the first depot in San Bernardino, which was made out of wood. And they're all wearing these orange show pennants on their shirts. Can't really see it too good there. See it better there.
Are they Harvey girls?
No, no. There was women that I assumed that the orange show got as a welcoming committee. Pacific Electric had huge displays every year because they were important in the city. You know, for Arrowhead Springs and for Beta Springs, they had special rates for the orange show as well. This was the sixth orange show, and this facade was the entrance to the tent. In 1918, they thought about canceling the orange show because of World War I, and they asked the opinion from President Woodrow Wilson, and he encouraged them to keep on doing it, to keep things going in the